Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today's video will be a little bit different. It will be more of a discussion type video, so you can put it on in the background. It will have some minimal editing, but I will be discussing some quite interesting things. So if you do want to watch it, I will have some gameplay on the side of my discussion. Okay, so this video will be about identifying potential items and mods that you can buy and then in the end sell for more platinum, so flipping items. Now, this is of course a thing that has been known since ancient history on how to make platinum, but I will give more of an insight in how I sort of get to these items, what I think about, and how I go about analyzing whether certain items are undervalued at the moment and will increase in price over time. So I have a list linked here of different items as well as mods, which I would recommend you pick up at the moment because I do think they will increase in price over time. The first one, I will just go down the list very quickly and then I will go to my presentation type thing. The first one is Photon Overcharge. This was one of the Nightwave mods from last Nightwave for the Glaxion. Then we have the Glaive Prime. We all know and love the Glaive Prime. It's one of the best melee weapons in the entire game. And at the moment it's unvaulted for at least another 40 days or something, if I recall correctly. Then we have Octavia Prime, which is also unvaulted at the moment. Octavia Prime, a quintessential endgame frame, very good frame to have. Also makes the game very boring, but it's all subjective in the end. Then we have Nesher Prime. Nesher Prime and Octavia Prime are unvaulted together at the moment, so if you want to pick them up and if you want to farm them instead of buying their parts, I would suggest you pick up some Aya, go to Visaria, exchange the Aya for the relics that you need, and then run those relics. Then the next one is Sentient Surge. This is already an older Nightwave mod from like 2 Nightwaves ago. It's for the Occucore and it makes the Occucore, it basically transforms the Occucore into an amazing weapon. So yeah, this is a very crutch mod that you can equip on the Occucore, and I would definitely recommend picking this up. It has been out of rotation for a long time, so the prices can be quite high, but if you do have the platinum to pick it up, I would definitely say you should. Then we also have Clip Delegation. This was the Sobek augment from last Nightwave. I would not recommend this over Photon Overcharge, but still, if you want to make some lower amounts of platinum, also if you have a lower amount of platinum to begin with, this mod is not worth as much as Photon Overcharge on the market at the moment, so you can pick up more of these. And then I have 6 different weapons that are rumored to have a Incarnon adapter for them released in the coming future. I do not know exactly when this will be. I believe it's for the 1999 update, but it could be earlier, possibly in the next update. However, it has been data mined that these are likely to be the Sybaris, the Sicarus, the Okina, the Sestra, and the Dara. The Sybaris and the Sicarus, as well as the Okina, have a prime variant, even though the Okina was released a shorter time ago, so the Riven disposition on this weapon, especially its prime variant, is very low. And the Dara has also a Dara Vandal version of this weapon. The Sybaris and the Sicarus have quite high Riven disposition as far as I know, and the Dara as well, Sestra 2. The Okina, I'm not sure about the base, but the prime definitely has a low one, so maybe pick this up a little bit less than the other ones. I would say pick up unrolled Rivens if you can, and then roll them yourself, or if you can find Rivens that are already amazing rolls for a low price, that's also fine. So those are the items quickly discussed. Now I will transition to some gameplay on the side, and then I will do my little presentation type deal on the other side of the screen, so you are still entertained with your brain rot that everyone has nowadays. So what I have is this right here. It's sort of this platinum trading guide type deal. And what I want to discuss first is how I come up with these items and what I base the potential increase in price on. Then I will also discuss the liquidity for a short amount of time. I will rank all of the items and mods that I just covered based on these 3 metrics. I will explain a little bit about the cycle, and then I have a 5th point all the way at the end. So first, for the 3 metrics, what you can think about is supply, demand, and usability. For supply, you can think, for instance, about how easy it is to farm certain things. So how easy is it to farm? So what this means is that you can think about percentage drop chances, or you can think about whether it's a limited item. So for instance, the Nightwaves mods are limited items, at least for a little while. You can also think about events whenever they happen. So if you have an event, usually you get a crazy increase in supply, which causes the prices to go down. But this supply will at some point run out because the drop chance for these things are relatively low. So for instance, with the Jade event, where we would go up the elevator a million billion times, you could exchange the resource that you got from that mission for arcanes. Now, DE already put a limit on how many arcanes you could get. So the supply was already regulated to be relatively low. And even then, supply went up by a crazy amount because no one likes doing eidolons, apparently. So prices went down a lot. I bought a lot of Arcane Avengers and Furies. I also made a community post about this, which you may or may not have seen. I was already saying that Arcane Avenger and Fury was going for about 115 plat for a full set. And at the moment, Fury is going for about 310 and Avenger is going for 280 upwards, which means that you could have more than easily doubled or almost tripled your platinum by buying a couple of these full sets off of other people. Now, of course, this means that you want to already have plat to start with, but in this video, I will not cover the farms that you can use to get platinum. It's more about if you have a decent amount of platinum. So even if it's around 1,000 platinum, you can begin doing this. And that's what this video is for. So it's about growing your platinum sort of like casually, without playing that much, without farming endlessly, slowly increasing the amount of platinum you have. Okay, then the other metric I base my predictions on is demand. And this is mostly, is it meta or not? So is something meta, then usually the demand for it is very high. Demand can also be fluctuating based on what YouTubers say. So even what I say could fluctuate demand of people if they want certain things. So also try to keep an eye out on what people release, what kind of builds are coming out, and then you can sort of make an idea yourself about what the demand for this item or this mod probably is. And then the usability, even though these have some interchanging sort of like things, there's a small symbiosis going on between these. Usability, I mean whether it's something like a crutch mod. So I already said this about Sentient Surge. Sentient Surge is a crutch mod because without it, the Occupur is significantly worse. And then you also have things that enable specific builds. So for instance, the Photon Overcharge mod, it enables very energy hungry builds to still have a lot of energy sustain, and it gives you some more options for energy generation. So enable specific builds. So that's those three metrics covered. Then what I wanted to discuss was the liquidity. What I mean with liquidity is in Google, if you look up the definition of liquidity, it's said to be the availability of liquid assets to a market or company. Of course, in Warframe, we don't really do markets or companies. But what we do have is platinum, so liquid asset would be plat, and the market or company is the player, so it's you. And what you want to do is have high availability of liquid assets. So it means that you want your platinum to be liquid. So you want to have it as platinum as much as possible instead of having it as items. And if you do have it as items, you want to make sure that it at least sells relatively quickly. Because if you have a very expensive Riven mod, which you think, oh, I can flip this, I paid 1,000 for it and it looks really, really good, but then it's for a weapon that's not meta or isn't used a lot, what will happen is that you sit on that mod for months and all of that platinum that you spent in the beginning, you have not been able to use for any other smaller type of investments. So make sure that you think about liquidity and you think about, if I buy this, can I get rid of it at some point and is it easy to sell? Okay, this brings me to number 3, which are all of the things that I picked out for this video, and I will go over the metrics and the type of investments they are. So starting off with Photon Overcharge. Photon Overcharge, the supply at the moment is relatively medium because you could farm it in the last night wave. The demand for this is low to medium, I would say, but the usability is medium to high, and that's because it's one of those mods that enables a specific build or enables a very specific thing. What I do expect is that, of course, the demand will increase over time and the supply will go down over time because you cannot farm this anymore. And this means that the type of investment for Photon Overcharge is it's a long-term investment. And long-term in Warframe, you would think about a couple of months. A year is very long. Usually things will rotate back into the game after a year. So a couple of months is a long-term investment. Then we have the Glaive Prime. As I said, a very well-known melee weapon, very good melee weapon. The supply of this at the moment is very high because we have been able to farm it for a relatively long amount of time already, and it will be around for at least 40 days plus. The demand on this is medium. It will stay medium, and it will probably go up to high again if the supply drops further down below 2. The usability of this is very high as well. This makes it a very good investment. At the moment they are going for about 80 platinum, but I do expect them to at least climb up to 100% and possibly higher than that as well. So it's 20 platinum per 80 platinum spent. In terms of investments, this is also a long-term investment. It will take some time to decrease the supply for the demand to be high and the price to go up again. So you do need to hold it for a little bit of time. Octavia, very good frame. At the moment, supply medium to high. Not everybody is farming her, but still people are farming her at the moment because she's vaulted. The demand on this is medium, I would say. People do not necessarily know how crazy Octavia is, and if they do, they go out of their way to play her because she makes the game incredibly boring. Usability for Octavia is super high. She's very good at endgame. In terms of what kind of investment this would be, it would be a long to possibly medium term investment because I do expect the supply to go down by quite a bit, and you can already see some profits in a short amount of time after her vaulting. Possibly like 2 or 3 weeks, you can already see a couple of platinum profit if you are keen for a couple of platinum profit, or if you do want more platinum, just hold on for longer and you can think in terms of about 20 platinum per set profit. For Nezha, supply at the moment, medium. Not everybody is farming her. Demand, I would say, is low to medium, but the usability, in my personal opinion, is very high. Nezha is a very well-rounded frame, especially with the new augment mod that he got, Divine Retribution. This enables nuking in a very high radius, so definitely a good pickup. Especially in the early game, Nezha is very good. However, in terms of investment, this is a long-term investment because I don't expect supply to dwindle as fast as it will for Octavia. Then we have Sentient Surge. Sentient Surge at the moment has a very low supply because it hasn't been able to be farmed for a long time. The demand is medium and the usability is extremely high because, as I said, it's one of those crutch mods. Type of investment would be medium to short because it could be that in the next night wave this is already re-released. What's also a downside on this investment is that it's worth on the market at the moment like 250 platinum, so if you do not have crazy amounts of platinum to buy a couple of these, don't bother, I would say. Then we have Clip Delegation. As I said, this is the worst variant of Photon Overcharge, so you can pick up a couple but not too many. At the moment the supply is medium still, the demand is quite low, and the usability is medium as well. In terms of investment, this is a very long-term investment, and I do not expect to see huge profits on this, but still couple of platinum per mod is definitely in it. Okay, so then we get to the Riven mods for the data leaked or the data mined weapons that will probably get Incarnons. Here we have the Sybaris, the Sicarus, the Okina, the Dara, and the Sestra. I would say for all of them, it's very hard to say how useful they will be. It all depends on what kind of Incarnon adapter is on there and what the Incarnon mode does. The demand for this is at the moment, it's super low, but it might go crazy high once the Incarnon versions are here. And the supply at the moment for these mods is around medium. People have them, they want to sell them. They might not know that these are getting Incarnon upgrades or are rumored to get Incarnon upgrades. Because of this, and the nature of it being data mined and not exactly sure and not communicated as well, is this makes it a very risky investment. So I would not necessarily recommend this if you do not have a lot of platinum, but if you do have a lot of spare platinum, just pick up like 2 unrolled mods for all of these weapons, and then you can roll them once they release and look for the attributes and the things that people want on the Riven mods. In terms of investment, this is a long-term investment. I don't know how long it will take until these Incarnons are released. It might be the next update, but it could also be all the way in 1999 update, which is closer to January, December. So yeah, that covers all of these items. Then let me discuss the cycle. The cycle means that you do a long-term investment and then you get into a sell moment. And then once you get into that sell moment, you get some profits, which you can then in turn again put into a long-term investment. which you will then turn into a sell moment, which etc, etc. It will basically make it so that you have a passive source of platinum coming in, because you will constantly have items that you have been buying as long-term investments, but also have been selling from previous buys. And what I will also recommend is that low margins with high liquidity on items, in my personal opinion, is better than high margins with incredibly low liquidity. As I already said, I do not want to sit on a Riven mod for 2 months, which cost 500 platinum, if I could have used those 500 platinum to buy a bunch of prime sets, which are very easily sold again. So yeah, that's the cycle that you want to come into. And then for fifth and the final thing is that 95% of you are not subscribed. So if you enjoyed this video and if you think it was useful for you, make sure to subscribe. Also leave a like if you didn't already. And if you want to become a channel member, you can do so for $0.99 a month, and you will get early access to videos, 1 day for regular videos, 3 to 4 days for platinum trading opportunities like this video, and even possibly earlier access for videos covering undiscovered bugs, if I do find any. Then there's also some new emojis for the channel and some badges that you will get if you are a member for a longer amount of time. You also get access to member-specific polls that help me decide future videos. So I will drop a couple of ideas and then you guys can vote on the video that I should do next. You also have some priority for playing together during live streams. So if you want to join the squad and play along, you will have priority for an invite, and you will have a shout out in video outros. So if you're interested in that, you can find the join button below this video. And that's pretty much all that I wanted to share. If you have any thoughts, if you have any of your own ways to make platinum, if you disagree with me, if you agree with me, let me know in the comments and I will see if I can respond and we can get the discussion going. With that, I would like to thank all of you for tuning into this video. I hope you enjoyed and I hope to see you in the next one as well. Bye. As always, thanks to all channel members for supporting the channel. If you are looking to become a member, please find the join button below the video.